I'm Deon Amade, and this week on the Old Poke Show, Clint and I get a chance to talk with our former teammate, running back for the Oklahoma State Cowboys, Jeremy Smith, about his coaching career and so much more. Also, we talk about the portal news and that Doak Walker Award for Ollie Gordon. All that on the Old Poke Show. Welcome to the Old Poke Show. This is the show where we talk to Cowboy legends from the past and review the OSU program going into the future. I'm your host, Deon Amade, alongside my man himself, Clint Shelf, number 10. What's going on, baby?
Nothing, man. It's been a week. We got to process a little bit, kind of decompress, take a step back, and then you get the portal opening up, right? And then it's just like continually refreshing. Who's in, who's leaving, who's doing what. So, it's kind of a different mentally taxing part of the season. It's always like, you're on edge instead of trying to prep for another game. It's like, okay, who's going to leave? Who's going to stay? Who's leaving? Who's available at other programs? So, man, it's been a busy weekend of just, sitting on my phone and scrolling, which I do a ton anyways. So I'm sure your weekend was a lot more exciting than what I did.
Yeah, man, it was the first weekend that I didn't have a football game to call or nothing to cover, so I did take advantage of that and hang out with some friends and do a little gallivanting around the great downtown Tulsa area. So
do you want to talk about it, or should we keep it off air?
Let's not do that, Clint. This is a family show. This is a family
show. Okay.
But we talked about all that portal stuff, and we'll get into all that a little bit more later. Big news dropped, though, this recent week where our guy, Ollie Gordon, won the Doak Walker Award. And congratulations to him and his family and the coaching staff and the whole team because, when you win those awards like that, there's a lot of people that help to get that accomplished. So very big accomplishment for the team and the offense and the offensive line and Ollie in general. So with that being the case, I thought it was so appropriate for us to kind of bring in a running back that can kind of shine some light on that award and talk to us about his career at Oklahoma State. What do you think, Clint? You in on a special guest that's also toted the rock a little bit for the Cowboys?
I'm in. I'm very excited about this guy. My recruiting class, we came in together. Played against him in high school, which we can get into a little bit. Was not a very good experience for us. But yeah, man, we need to get this guy in. It's a perfect fit for Ollie racking up the Doak All-American honors. So I'm very excited. Looking forward to getting this guy on, and I think you guys will really like him as well.
Yeah, we might as well bring him in and not let the anticipation build too much. So from Tulsa, Oklahoma, number 31, Jeremy Smith.
What's up, guys?
What's up?
Hey, I love the introduction. I definitely appreciate that.
I do.
That's the famous Deon. We've got guys coming on that are like, broadcasters, and he gives them the same intro with like the radio station and a TV station and stuff, man. It's hype. It gets you ready for the interview.
I'll take it though. I'll take it.
You got to make them feel special now. You're a special guest. We got to make you feel special coming on into the Old Poke Show.
Much love. Thank you.
So how you been, man? What you up to?
Man, I'm blessed. I'm blessed just like you guys, man. And honestly, right now I'm just coaching high school football, and really just trying to grow my career into coaching. I mean, that's what I want to do. I want to keep giving back to really my community, and not just that, but just keep leading and keep helping other young men just get to where we've been. And I think that's the biggest thing for me. I want to make sure that those guys have opportunity to be able to feed their families in the future, and also to go and obtain whatever they want in their life, man. And that's huge to me. So, just trying to get it going.
So you're currently the running back coach at Broken Arrow.
Yes.
And I know as somebody who did a little, so I think maybe 2-3 years after we got done playing, I helped with Enid's JV team. And it was certainly interesting to see kind of the difference in, kids of today's age versus, what I thought we were like. So kind of what's that been like as somebody who, it's not like you're way older than all these kids, but at the same time, you're close enough in age to kind of relate to them, which is big. But social media, all that stuff's way different now, right?
Yeah, I mean, when we were growing up, social media was a thing, but it wasn't just, of course, as big as it is. And I think in today's age, I mean, don't get it twisted. Like, kids are still working hard. They want it just like we did. But you see a lot of young individuals that want the instant gratification as well. And we got to tell them again, like, this is the plan. Like, this is how you get it. As long as you keep working, God's gonna make a way for everything else. I heard a coach once, he said, again, it's not about the destination, but it's about the journey. And that literally is what it's about. Like, you got to continue just to keep your foot down, stay 10 toes down, and just, you got a vision, live with it. Keep continuing to reach every goal. And as long as you're doing that, everything else will take care of itself. But again, we are trying to get them to really understand. I think they're understanding it now. And again, on how to get there and how to really just bring in everything that they want.
Man, we getting all this coach speak from Jeremy. I'm not used to this, Clint. I'm used to the player Jeremy, biceps Jeremy in the weight room and running dudes over. But now I feel like I'm like talking to a coach. So
man, Jeremy was always pretty thoughtful,
insightful.
Introspective. Yeah. He was that I guess being on the offensive side of the ball, I heard him talk like this a little bit more. So.
Yeah, I was more concentrated on bringing them down.
You were looking at those biceps, man, coming at you.
Dodging one of them.
Hey, they're not as big as they used to be, but there's still some working going on.
Yeah,
I feel you. Well, with that being the case, let's take it all the way to the beginning, and we'll talk more about the coaching and your aspirations and that stuff towards the end. But let's take it to the very beginning, Jeremy. I mean, we all know. I mean, everybody in the state of Oklahoma is familiar with you and playing for Union and everything. But how did it all get started for you as far as football and and your high school career? How did all that go?
Man, honestly, I'm gonna give you guys again the real rundown. When I was growing up, I'm gonna take it to like the 90s version of a nerd. I was a big time nerd. I used to like writing books, writing poetry, songs, things of that such. But athletically, I was always gifted just because, again, everybody in my family played sports, basketball, football, track, everything else. So, but of course, like my mom, she was, the youngest of 9. She was growing, but, we couldn't really afford everything. And I always wanted to play soccer. Like, soccer was my first love, hands down.
Really?
And yes, like soccer was everything, man. And it really started just because of the female soccers, believe it or not. The female soccer players, our USA team.
No, I believe that.
Me and Ham and them was going crazy at that time.
They were everything. So I'm just watching like, man, I want to play soccer. And then my mom would always tell me like, no, we're not going to play soccer. It's too dangerous. Okay. Well, long story short, I actually didn't start playing football until the 7th grade. We were out playing one day with one of my best friends. And his dad was just like, hey, man, you got some skill. Like, do you play football? No, I don't. Well, I mean, what can we do for you to play football? I mean, you got to talk to my mom. I mean, my mom was just like, okay, well, we can't afford that. Well, okay, well, if you let him play for us, I'll pay for everything. Just let him play for us. I'll watch him. I'll watch over everything. I'll make sure that he is good to go. This is 7th grade. As soon as I get in, he goes and buys everything. As soon as I get in, it was just downhill from there. First year was kind of a rocky, but it was still some good points, some good stuff in there. And then literally 8th grade, 4 or 5 touchdowns a game, just going ham, man. So that's how I ended up getting started with it. And after that, like I said, I just never looked back. Never, ever looked back, man. So I'm just grateful for opportunity.
Wait, was the 7th grade and 8th grade? Were you guys, again? I'm from Texas, so we might do some things a little different there. But were you guys playing for the school in the 7th and 8th grade, or were you in your middle school, or no?
So 8th grade here, 8th grade starts team ball. Mm-hmm. So once you get to 8th grade, of course, like the grades and everything else matters. 9th grade, of course, and then it funnels into junior varsity. But 7th grade is still, in reality, still little league ball.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. So, again, this level of competition that we play even over here on the east side, like it's pretty intense. We look at the east side just like if we're looking at Texas. Now, I'm going to throw that out there, for all you Texas players.
Okay. All right.
We play ball over here.
I hear you. I've witnessed it.
I remember those conversations. Those may have been the absolute most heated conversations in the locker room
Yeah.
were people from either Tulsa, maybe Oklahoma City, talking about Texas high school football. Y'all talking about we were going to get into this 8 D1 guys in our class. You know, you guys had Jeremy at Union, and I still remember, and this is not really a question, but since I played against you since we were in high school, I still remember. I don't know if it was when we were freshmen or sophomores, but you guys were killing. Tulsa Union was you were beating us, and you came in the game. Maybe you started the game. I don't remember, and you broke off a run on the sideline. And we were all like, man, that dude's a sophomore. We're going to have to play that dude for 2-3 more years. Like, man.
So that was definitely our sophomore year. Of course, Austin Box was the man. We all know that. He was a dude. And he actually got hurt in the game playing us.
He did something to his elbow either. Dislocated. I think he dislocated his elbow. So I had to go in.
Yes, that's where you came in. And then it was like, I like this guy. Credit, of course, it's a Union. You guys were smaller than us, of course. So it was a little bit easier, you know.
Yeah, that was tough on us. Hey, we did make a run. We made it to the state finals that year, though.
We did, and we lost in the first round.
Yeah, so we made a run, but I'll never forget that day. You know, we were over here. It was my first time playing. Really, Austin got hurt, dislocated his elbow. We were already getting blown out, but I got to go in and play and had a few good plays. So. Talk a little bit about that Union team, man. You, Tracy Moore, a couple guys that came to OSU. I mean, that was a talented team, man. Yeah,
from Tracy Moore, who, of course, played with us at Oklahoma State. You got Howard Scarborough, who went to Missouri State. You got Sean Simon, who went to Colorado. You got Terrell Williams, who played at Arkansas. Anthony Foster, Tulsa. You got Brian DeShane, Tulsa. Who else? I can't even name everybody. Lord, I'm skipping some names right now. But there were some guys, man. But all I know and all I remember, again, is we worked our butts off. You know, we talked about Jalen Hurts and, you know, his preparation after the game. You know, even if he loses what he's doing, he's going into the weight room. Well, for us, again, even after every game on Saturday and Sunday, even after our team meetings, what are we doing? We're getting extra work in. Like, literally, we're on the field getting extra work because we want it that bad. And I just remember, too, even going into our senior year, knowing who you are. We didn't know who our quarterback was going to be after Brandon Rodgers, of course. And he ended up going to Northern Illinois to play quarterback up there. And I was just like, man, I gotta get Clint. There's some way. I know most people are like, oh, the coaches are doing this. No, it's not the coaches. It's it's the players. So we tried, and I think you talked about it a little bit. I think you asked your dad or something like that, and it was like, no, but
there were some conversations about, man, it's hard when you're at that point. It was like bailing on my guys, as you know. I mean,
senior
it's tough.
year.
When it's senior year. We would have been nice. We would have been way nice.
Dude, we ended up losing a broken arrow that year, first game, and we which was crazy because we had a 22-year streak on them. And so after the game, I'm thinking to myself, dang, if we just had a real quarterback, man, we just need Clint, dang. And all of a sudden, like, we just put everything together and went and had a state run, man. It was awesome. So it was a blessing. I'll definitely say that.
Yeah. Well, what are some of your fondest memories of playing at Union and kind of getting that whole Oklahoma high school, treatment and being, a star player in the state?
I think for me, I didn't really care about like all the accolades. To be really, really, I know a lot of people will sit up here and like try to be humble, but I really didn't care. We got to play Hoover, Alabama, my sophomore year. Got blew out.
Yeah,
but having that experience was just like, yo, we're playing the number one team in the nation. This is sold out. It's on ESPN. They got their own show on MTV. Like, yo, like this is lit. This is nice. And then, of course, like I said, we go and get blown out. And then we had a decent season, finished 7-4, lost in the first round. But again, we still beat Enid.
Yeah, Enid we had a televised game against Bishop Sycamore that year, baby.
Hey. But of course, like the next year, we ended up going to Ohio and we got to play Canton McKinley at the Kirk Herbstreit Classic, and which was probably one of the best experiences I've ever had. Again, like I said, growing up was really, really tough, so I didn't get to experience a lot. And that was my first time ever truly experiencing anything, getting on the plane and going to the Hall of Fame Stadium, seeing the Hall of Fame. Like that was pretty much everything. And then, finishing the game, being the McDonald's player of the game, or not McDonald's, but Burger King player of the game. That was everything, and then, of course, senior year, winning the Jim Thorpe Offensive Player of the Year, the Oklahoma Jim Thorpe Offensive Player of the Year. Me and actually Dayton Lowe. Dayton won defense, and then I won offense. And then, of course, we're at the thing, and he's, hey, we're going to Oklahoma State together. Let's go. What? Come on, man. And we made it happen. I think that 2009 class was so tight-knit. We all knew each other. And I think that was the first time that I actually seen it. Nowadays, you see it a lot more, but we were really out here networking with each other. And we're building relationships with one another. And we took it on and, hey, did big things.
Speaking of the whole Oklahoma State, how did that come about? Because I imagine you were getting talked to and offered by everybody, but how did the Oklahoma State kind of commitment? How did the offer come about?
So it was Coach Looper who actually recruited me, and believe it or not, I was born in Arkansas, so all my family are straight Razorback fans. Not a fan of Razorbacks. I think they're a pretty good program, but not for me. And even in the 6th grade, I was my whole goal was to go to Oklahoma State. I still got all my paintings and everything else from art class. I just wanted to go to Oklahoma State. And so TU was the first team to offer me. And then, of course, A&M and all these other schools. And then once Oklahoma State came in, which I can't remember which offer it was, but once they came in, I just knew. I knew it. And, of course, our basketball team was phenomenal then. And they were actually playing Kansas. Ooh, I forgot. Man, I think it was in the Big 12 tournament. They were playing Kansas our junior year. And I called Coach Looper and I told him, I was like, hey, man, look, if they beat Kansas, I'm committing. They go and beat Kansas. I call them back, hey, I'm ready to be a Cowboy. Oh, well, let's go. And after that, like I said, that was it. I knew for a fact, like I said, I knew at a young age what I wanted to do. Techno Bowl, all that stuff, that's the only team I ever played with.
So you talked about always knowing you wanted to be at OSU. What was the first time you went to Stillwater? What was that like? Because growing up in Tulsa, obviously I grew up in Enid. Yeah. Stillwater, Enid, pretty close. Tulsa and Enid, that's a little bit different. What was your first, trip to Stillwater? What age and what was it like for you?
Do we talk about that on Max? Do we talk about that on here? My first experience was my cousin. He went to Oklahoma State. He started at Southern Nazarene to go play football, and then he went over and transferred over to Oklahoma State to go play ball. So I was probably sophomore, the first trip that I ever took to Stillwater. So I'll leave it at that. And I knew what I wanted to do. I knew where I wanted to go, man. So I'll leave that there. But it was, like I said, it was a great experience just being in Stillwater. Of course, now you go back and there's so much more. It's like, dang, I'm really happy that I chose this place.
So you get to the point where you commit and you're excited to be a Cowboy. And so what was that, move like? I mean, you talked to Dayton Lowe and a bunch of guys are going into that camp. So what was it like your freshman year, meeting up with Clint and everybody, being at Oklahoma State together as freshmen?
I'll tell you this. Freshman year was an experience. Freshman year was a very a learning curve always. So anytime I talk to any of my guys, I always tell them your freshman year is probably going to be your toughest year, guaranteed. Why? Because you have to learn how to adjust and learn how to become truly getting into your manly role. You got to start really building structure amongst yourself, really start taking care of the little things. But again, like I said, going in with a bunch of guys that I already knew was cool. I wasn't really too worried. I just wanted to really continue to keep working. And even having the opportunity to come in, and I redshirted the first 2 weeks. And I remember, I won't say the player's name, but I remember being in two-a-days. And again, I'm having a great two-a-days, And at this time, Coach Gillespie actually comes in, and he's a running backs coach, who's now at Alabama. And, we had a linebacker there, and I'm busting my butt every day. I'm trying to work as hard as I can, try to break as many runs as I can. I'm doing everything I literally can just to get noticed. And I get this player, he tells me, hey, man, you need to calm down. You're doing too much. Coach Gillespie chimes in, nah, no, you're not. He ain't doing enough. If any player tells you that, that means that they're not doing their job correctly. And at that point, it was like, okay, I'm doing the right thing. Let me just continue to keep working. 2 weeks later, again, I'm off of, I'm done redshirting. I get to come in and play Grambling State. I go in and have this great game, 150, 60 or 50 or 60 some yards, 2 TDs, 15 carries. Like, that was huge. So I'm on this big time high. Like, yo, I'm just a freshman. I'm only 8. I literally just turned 18 years old. Like, yo, this is something. A couple of days later, I go in and I get hurt. Tore my labrum. I'm out for the rest of the year. You talking about truly being humbled and going through a really, really hard time. Like I said, that was my first time ever truly being injured, ever. And being out for the rest of the year, and just being down every day. I was going through like this big depression stage just because, like I said, I didn't know how to come up out of this injury. Like I said, I didn't, this was my first time ever. And it got to the point to where I literally, like, I walked in one day and, me and Kendall were big time. Like, we always hung out. Like, he was a big mentor to me. And I walked in one day
Kendall Hunter.
Yeah, Kendall Hunter. And again, fantastic back. But I walked in one day and I looked at him. I said, "Hey, Kendall, I can't do this, man. Like, I'm good." He's like, "What you mean, man? What you mean?" I'm ready to quit. Like, I'm good. Like, I just want to go home, man. Like, I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to play football anymore on my shoulder like this, man. Like, I didn't know that you can literally come back for something like that. Like, it was huge to me. I couldn't even move my arm, and I had to learn how to reuse my whole arm and everything. So it was tough. And he goes, "Nah, man, you ain't going nowhere." "Nah, Kendall, I'm out." I walked out the door. I get a whole bunch of calls. Coach Gundy calls me. Coach Gillespie calls me. Got all the running backs trying to call me and figure out where I am. But again, I have family in Stillwater. My family's just chilling. They're all saying the same thing. Like, "Man, what are you doing? You about to leave all this behind for what? You better go back up there." "Nah, I'm good. I just want to be a regular student." Next thing you know, again, I answered a phone to one of the running backs that used to be there. And he goes, "Man, where you at?" "I'm at my cousin's house." So he drives over. Coach Gillespie's in the car with him. And so, I get in the car. "Coach Gillespie, what are you doing?" "Coach, man, this is hard, dude. Like, what? I don't even know what I'm doing anymore." And he goes, "Well, I need you back in football." "Yeah, nah, I'm good." And I get a call from Gundy. Gundy says, "No, I need to meet with you." So we go up there and they call my mom and my little brother comes up there as well. And we get up there and Coach Gundy's just asking me 1,000 times, like, "What are you about to do? What are you going to do with your life? You going to go back and work a 9 to 5? Is that what you want to do?" "I mean, if I have to, I'm going to go work a 9 to 5, whatever I got to do." And then, of course, my mom is saying, "I got your back, or whatever you want to do, blah, 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 blah." I'm really like, "Okay, yeah, I want to go home." Coach Gundy goes, "No, I'm not letting you go. What I can do is I can give you a week off to let you think about it." And he gave me the full week. So again, I'm talking to my mom every day, talking to my dad. My dad is mad. He is. Like, "Boy, you lost your mind."
Yeah.
And my mom, again, she's saying the same thing, like, "Whatever, son, I'll support you, whatever you want to do." Okay. So Coach Gundy calls us all back after that week, and it's me, my mom, and my little brother. And we all get in the meeting, and Coach Gundy and Coach Gillespie in there as well. And Coach Gundy goes, "Okay, what do you want to do?" "I'm done. I quit. I want to go home. I'm good. I'm trying to get up out of here, man." "Okay, I'm not letting you leave." I was like, "Dude, I'm about to leave." My little brother starts crying. So at that point, I'm looking at him like, "Dude, what are you doing? What are you doing? Why are you crying?" But at that point, like, I didn't understand. Like, again, I'm young. I didn't know how much he actually looked up to me and how much it meant for him to see me in that position. And now, even looking at him today, like, he's a hard worker. I mean, he works his butt off, man. And like I said, I didn't know. And then my mom, I'm sitting there like, I'm coming home with you, Mom. She looks at me, goes, "No, you're not. But you said I can come home. Like, you said you support me." "Yeah, I do, but you ain't coming home." What in the world? Like, yo, so again, like I said, I look back over at my little brother. He's still crying. He's just bawling. I was like, "All right, man, you know what? I'm going to stay. I'm going to just stick it out. Just forget it." And I'm really happy that I did it. And I say this because I tell this story a lot to a lot of young individuals because I don't think they understand. Like, it's gonna be tough that first year. It's gonna be tough just regardless, but go through those hard times. Like you hear it all the time, like go through it. That's that enduring phase that you have to go through it because those tough times are what builds you. So at that point, like embrace it. Like just be happy that, hey, I'm actually learning in this time. I'm growing in this time and I'm building a stronger mind just by going through this tough time. And that's what it's about. And like I said, I'm happy that Coach Gundy didn't give up on me. I'm happy that he gave me the week off, and I'm happy that he didn't let me leave. And that's why, again, when I look at that program and even I look at Coach Gundy, he means that much to me. So I'm always in support for Coach Gundy, always, because he didn't let me leave. He didn't let me quit. So, and again, I finished with my degree and everything else, and I'm able to actually take care of my son. Like, that's everything to me. So, like I said, it was tough, but I'm going to definitely tell anybody out there that's going through that, that's going through that injury, just endure it and embrace it. It's teaching you something in life. So definitely stick it out.
Man, shout out to your little brother, bro, because those tears might have saved us the Big 12 championship. those tears might be legendary now.
Hey, man, I'm going to have to say the team on that one because we were stacked. We were definitely stacked, man.
But man, I think that's a really good, story, not only for young athletes to hear, but for our listeners, people who are just fans of Oklahoma State football. And, hearing what guys truly go through when they get there on campus. Because like you come from a program, you're winning the awards, you're the top dog. Man, it's tough when you get in those locker rooms and now you're on the bottom of the totem pole. Man,
yes.
it's hard. And the mental toughness you got to have to fight through that. It's difficult. Now we've all been there. Each and every one of us on this show have been there. So, moving past that a little bit, you talked about Kendall Hunter.
Yeah.
In that running back room, we've had some special running backs. Just you, Joe Randall, in that running back room together. You guys made us look way better than we were. How special was it to be a part of the running backs at Oklahoma State?
Ooh, man, it was great. It was great. Honestly, it was great just to even be a part of seeing coaches. Like, let me start with that first. Going from Coach Looper, who recruited me, who's at Missouri now, to Coach Gillespie, who's now at Alabama, to Coach Singleton, who, again, is a big-time mentor to me, who's now with the Eagles. He's the assistant running backs coach with the Eagles. And, again, he helps me out a lot, like literally. And so being under those guys and then, of course, being able to be in the backfield with Keith Toston, who, most people really don't talk about, but workhorse. Definitely. Yeah. Kendall Hunter, who's like a big brother. And then, of course, Joseph Randall, who was the goofiest of the goofiest, but definitely a hard worker. I'll say this too. I know when he first came in and we were at practice, and I'm not gonna lie, I knew that for a fact, like I had to continue to keep working because the first play that he actually got in practice, I don't know if you guys remember this, he took it all the way to the end zone.
I remember that.
And I'm sitting here like, what is he doing? But I didn't know how much of an impact that left on the coaches. And I'm like, dang, I gotta really compete. Like, yo, this kid's a freaking stud.
now you're the guy saying, hey, young buck, chill out a little bit.
Like, man, you doing too much. Hold on, man. But I'm happy that guy walked in the room, man, because it elevated that room big time.
Yeah, it definitely did. You guys were definitely talented, and I mean, Oklahoma State is known for running back. We see it when we walk into the locker room, and it starts with the Thurman and Barry and guys like you, Joseph, Kendall, Toston. I mean, a number of individuals that gone through that room and made a big time impact. But talk about your impact on the team as far as getting through that tough time your freshman year and then progressing past that and how your career was going forward.
Yeah, man. So again, after I made the transition again, just to stay and stick it out, like I said, it was still an uphill battle from there, because Kendall was still there. Joseph's just coming in. He's a true freshman. You still got Kyle Staley, but he ended up getting injured, of course, and he was trying to make his way back. So it was really just us three with me, Kendall, and Joseph. Somehow, some way, I ended up just, saying, hey, you know what? I got to find my role. And I ended up first, coming in and being that third down back, that guy that just comes in and gets the tough yardage. being able to score against Nebraska, going in and having some big runs against OU, and going in and scoring on them as well, and some other games as well. But that was huge. And of course, just still being in that talk of, hey, this group right here, this is something really special. And of course, once Kendall left, it was like, okay, we went into that springtime like, yo, with all the time that we got coming back, me and Joseph, like I said, the way that we worked, we hung out every single day. So our talks was we got to stay grinding. And once that springtime came, like I said, it was just that we just stuck it out, had big plays. We competed extremely hard in the springtime. I mean, we're going at it, defense, offense. And it just, like I said, it fueled us to keep going. Nobody knew how good we were going to be. You can talk about it all you want. Nobody knew that we were going to be, number 2 in the country, number 3 in the country, potentially competing for a national championship, and the guys, like I said, all around us, everybody that was a part of that mix, that was everything. Like I said, we worked our butts off of that, man. So, like I said, even having an opportunity to be there and help just to bring it, that was everything.
So something that you talked about was, those memories of working hard and, you and Joe kind of pushing each other, if you will. Something that we like to ask, and I know that Oklahoma State fans like to hear is kind of what was your maybe favorite moment? And it doesn't have to be, because some guys pick something off the field, but what was your kind of favorite moment from your time in Stillwater?
Ooh, favorite moment.
It's tough to beat 2011 Bedlam, winning the Big 12 championship, but everybody has their own thing.
Man, I had so many great moments, to be really honest. We can go Texas. We can talk about Missouri. I think I'm gonna have to say playing against OU and winning that game. Going every year and playing them in overtime, that got to be really exhausting. It was still the same thing even after that. And just having that one opportunity just to go in and actually not just win, but to dominate and actually have a significant role in that game. And of course, having your OC sit up here and say, we're going to run the ball. If we want to win this game, we're going to run the ball. And we did that. I had over 100. Joseph had over 100 yards. Both had 2 TDs. That was everything. But that to me had to be. To me, let me stop. It wasn't truly just winning that game. It was after we won, the way that we celebrated. It took me a whole hour to get off that field.
Yep.
And literally an hour to get off the field, man. Like, I've never experienced anything like that in my life. Yeah, I played at Union. You're playing against 40,000 fans, whatever. An hour to get off the field. Like, that speaks volumes. So that was everything to me.
Yeah, man, that was a special moment, not only for Oklahoma State, but for us as players and individuals. It spoke volumes. But what's something that you take away from those plays, those times, those moments off the field that you can kind of touch on that you truly appreciated? I mean, the guys talk about it all the time, missing the locker room and that, that being together with the guys and having one common goal. What's something that you moments that you missed from playing?
Man, honestly, I miss everything, to be really honest. I think for young individuals, it's don't take anything for granted. God's blessing you. He's giving you opportunity. And I keep throwing that word out because that's all you need is opportunity to do something great. You need one opportunity. That's it. And I'm going to take that experience. I didn't I could have went to any other school. That's cool. Kudos to that. Oklahoma State gave me a chance. Coach Gundy gave me a chance. That was everything to me. And I'm taking that full force. Again, that's still my favorite coach of all time. You gave me opportunity, man. So don't take it for granted. And I'm going to say this too. I know, and I say don't take it for granted because when it's over, it's over. Mm-hmm. And like I said before, like the hardest transition in life, and you see it all the time, I see it till this day, is life after ball. And I think athletes in general need to talk about that a lot more because we're so in this structured state of mind once we're in college, and then once you're actually out, it's like it's a clean slate, and it's almost like, what do I do now?
Mm-hmm.
And you have to rebuild everything from a mental approach to everything, and it's tough for a lot of players. But I'm gonna say this, just like you said earlier, Clint, like you have to take care of your mental, right? The most dangerous place in the world is not anywhere else, Chicago, Dallas, Tulsa. No, it's your mind. That's the most dangerous place in the world. Whatever you tell it, that's what it's gonna be. You feed it good things, it's gonna be good things. You feed it negative things, it's gonna be negative things. You can't live there. You have to build structure. So again, we talk about a plan B or plan C or whatever it might be. You truly have to have that. You have to have what's next. Again, I wear this bracelet every single day that says elevate. Every single day I got to elevate, no matter what. Every day I wake up in the morning, I got to win some part of the day. I gotta brush my teeth. I got to make my bed. I got to have some type of structure each and every day. I think that's just the most important thing. So again, don't take anything for granted. Roll with it and just thank God every day.
I'm glad you talked about that, because when people ask me, especially now that I'm getting a little bit older, they've got kids, and they ask me, what's life like when you get done playing, and if you don't make it to the NFL, what's next, and what did I have to do? And it's like, man, like the absolute hardest thing is going from having everything structured in those formative years of your life to just being on your own. It's like, it was really hard. It's not like we were given stuff, but they pointed us in the direction, hey, you go here and you work your tail off. And then when you get in the real world, it's like, hey, wake up. Nothing's pointing you anywhere, and you still got to figure out how to get somewhere and work your tail off, right? And it's like, where do you go? Where do you go? So I'm glad you hit on that part. We've talked a little bit about your high school career, your college career, talked a little bit about your coaching, which I know Dion probably wants to circle back to. But, I think we need to talk a little bit about this team this year and Ollie Gordon. Were you able to watch the Pokes this year? And if so, what'd you think?
So I'm going to be honest, I follow State really, really hard. I've been actually following Ollie since he was at Euless Trinity. And so y'all can go back and check all my tweets from all the way back when. Last year, the first moment he stepped on that campus was the first person I kept hollering out for. That kid's got to be on the field. He showed glimpses last year as a true freshman. I think he had a few or 2 or 3 games over 100 yards. We knew he was the man. We already knew it. Of course, we start this season. It was a little bumpy, whatever. Starting off, I'll just use that as what it is. But we knew, and I kept calling out for him. Just injured to play that man. Let him go. Just let him go. Let him run through the bumps and bruises. Let him get through all of that. Again, he's still young. Let him go through that. And I'm so happy that he did, because now look at him. Best running back in the game. My little man's favorite running back on top of that as well. Got the opportunity to meet him. That was absolutely everything to me. So I'm just happy. Like I said, I'm happy for what they're doing and what Coach Gundy's doing. Every time they count that man out, they had us predicted last in the Big 12. Last. We finished in the Big 12 championship. Come on now.
Yeah, man, they definitely continue to, improve and prove those doubters wrong. But from your kind of your coaching and your as a former player, you can kind of look at the X's and O's and look at the technique and everything at a view that most people, and an expertise level that most people can't. So what about Ollie's game impresses you that the average, the naked eye can't see?
For me, I like the way they utilize him. He can be, he's great in the pass game. Even if you want to flex that man out, go flex him out. Like get really nasty with it. Of course, I like to run a lot of power with Ollie, which is cool. Again, that's just his game. He's a downhill type kid. Still can make you miss. Got some, for me, when we talk about speed, hidden speed. You don't think that he's that fast, but again, he gets in the open field, he can go.
Yeah.
So you got to be careful with that. Again, I love the way that they utilize them. I still think, for me, and I'm going to say it, I think that he still needs a little help coming out of there. I love the backs that they do have. I think they're great. They're phenomenal. I think Coach W is doing a great job, and to keep continuing to get those guys ready. But we got to keep that young man healthy. We got to keep him ready. We got to get him ready for the next level. And I think that's the biggest thing with me is how do you do that? Are we limiting his carries? Nah, I mean, I wouldn't say all that. But again, bringing a guy that can truly change the pace and that can, I wouldn't say do the things that Ollie can do, but can be more involved in really just in that pass game as well, which I think, again, is a big thing for us right now. We got the run game, got a decent pass game, but we got to continue to just keep pushing that on. Again, Coach Dunn is doing a great job. Huge fan of his. Again, got to meet with him earlier this year as well. And when we talk about smart, oh my Lord, NFL type receiver coach right there. That dude has got it, man. And I'll definitely say that. But again, I love the way that they're utilizing him.
I'm gonna guess that you think he maybe needs the Joe Randall to his Jeremy Smith. You know what I'm saying?
You always need a thunder and lightning.
Yeah. My last question, because you're kind of obviously you've transitioned to the coaching side. We've talked about your kids and the young men that you help with social media and stuff. Obviously, Ollie Gordon ties into that as far as keeping him is going to be a big part with NIL, right? So what's your take on NIL? What are you telling your guys that if they're getting approached, how does that go down as a high school coach?
Because we can do NIL in Oklahoma high school football, so that's got to be a key component in some of the things that you're
I'm glad you picked. I'm glad you. Yeah, that's where I was at. Kind of.
So I mean, you guys want to know what I actually think about it all?
Yeah.
To be honest, I'm really not a big fan of it. And I know it sucks for me to say that. Don't get me wrong. Like, yes, I wish we would have got paid. I think there should be some type of pay. I know the NCAA is trying to do this they're trying to figure this out with creating like a new branch or whatever for the NCAA. So there's like a set, number of what they're actually giving athletes to where they're not getting outrageous, whatever, which I'm good with that. But man, oh man, that's a tricky subject, to be really honest. I hope that we can do everything that we can to keep them. Shoot, if I got to give them a couple dollars, I mean, I can't give them everything, but
no man got to eat. But I mean, we still want to see Ollie Gordon in that.
Hey, tell me what I got to do to keep you around, man. Tell me what I got to do. I want to continue to keep taking little man up there to watch, man. I think that's everything. But man, I'm just really hoping we can do whatever we can to keep that young man. To be really honest, I'm gonna throw in mine for it, whatever I got to do, just to help again the actual university, the players. But again, not a huge fan. I just think there needs to be a set number when it comes to it. Even if we created like an NFL style to where, okay, hey, this, your top back is getting paid this much. Okay, now we just got to meet this number. I would love to see something like that, but of course, we're not there yet. And I think potentially, in the future we will be.
So somewhat of a college salary cap.
Yes, 100%.
So, and just to go into a little bit of detail on that, I'm guessing you're stating a salary cap, so therefore it's even across the board and everybody can compete at the same level.
Yes, 100%. And that, to me, I like a balanced look because it keeps everything good. I don't want just this, okay, well, Texas has a lot of money, right? Come on now. We know that. So they're always at an advantage because of that. Now, I'm not saying, okay, we got to get some. It's already tough because, again, they're in the state of Texas. Yeah. So much bigger state. A lot of celebs came from there. A lot of big-time alumni give back. Now, we do the same thing at Oklahoma State, but the numbers are clearly they don't match. And that's my only thing. So if we can create a salary cap, that'll be awesome. But, again, I'm just Jeremy Smith. I'm only speaking.
I got one more question, Jeremy, before we kind of get you out of here, and because we've taken up enough of your time, and I'm sure Clint has maybe one more as well. But
actually, that was my last question to you.
That's see, he be doing this, and then as soon as I ask mine, he goes, "Whoa, real quick, let me watch."
Jeremy, it's kind of a running. I always say I got one more question, and then Dion asks a question, then I ask another question because it makes me think of something else. So that was it for me. I'm letting it be known right now.
We'll see. We'll see. But Jeremy, all right, last question, so to speak. We're saying this, but you dropped a lot of gems, you've dropped a lot of jewels, and I mean, you've gone from almost leaving and ending your college career after 1 year to now being a high school head coach and going on that path. I mean, what's something that these kids should take away from this game and that will prepare them for life and any other adversity that will come about their way?
For me is everything that Coach Gundy says, just listen. Literally. I know he repeats himself like 1,001 times. And I know for me, listening to those speeches when I was there, I was like, yo, hey, how many times are you gonna say this? We get it.
Hey, are you talking about you're gonna have a guy tell you to go over there and pick that box up and move it right you said that example probably 1,001 times.
Yo, oh my gosh. Or the whole speeding, you guys don't have to speed, you're gonna get there.
You're gonna get there, it's not gonna make a difference.
Like
nothing good happens after midnight.
But again, everything he's saying, is really true. Again, just be cool, calm, collected, and just really, like I said, just enjoy life as it is. Take everything, like I said, don't take anything for granted. But also too, just use it for me. Like I said, if I'm giving out anything, use everything as a tool, man. Use it to network, right? Use, the players that you're with, don't sit up in there trying to be jealous over anybody. Ain't no time for that, man. Continue to keep building bridges because, again, those networks right there are going to help you when you get out of here. Like I said, the game don't last forever, right? We already talked about, again, life after football. It ain't tough, but when you don't have your stuff in order, yeah, it's tough. Network, keep building relationships, and that's what everything is. So that's the best advice I can give you is keep building relationships, keep working hard, and take all the advice and truly, truly run with it.
Man, well said, man. Well said. Great, Jeremy. It's been a blast, man. We appreciate you coming on, dropping like Dion said, dropping some gems of knowledge for us and for our listeners, man. I know everybody will really appreciate that. It's been great catching up with you as somebody who's known you for a long time. So we really, really appreciate it, man.
Hey, I appreciate you guys.
Man, next season when Ollie's, running up and down the field, we're going to have to bring you on a little bit more so you can break it down for us a little bit.
Sure.
Running back perspective.
Let's do that. Hopefully I'll be on that sideline trying to, let's go, Ollie.
Right on. Well, appreciate it, Jeremy. Thanks for tuning in, man.
Thank you.
Well, that was Jeremy Smith, running back, former Big 12 champion for the Oklahoma State Cowboys. I guess not former. I mean, once you're a Big 12 champion, you're always a Big 12 champion. So, yeah, that was from that 09 freshman class with Clint. Man, how'd it feel to be talking with your former running back once again?
It was great. Jeremy has always been a guy that has had layers. He talked about. I remember that week where he quit because he was kind of our crown jewel for that recruiting class, right? I mean, we had known him as an Oklahoma guy, stud running back. So that was a big deal. And so I'm glad he's, able to talk about that and get through it. I think it's very relevant to anybody who wants to come play college football that, things like that can happen to anybody. So it was good to hear from him, man. I'm glad he's doing well with his coaching career. And it was a great, segue segment, good person to have on so we could talk about Ollie Gordon, right? I mean, our RBU with Ollie winning the Doak Walker, first one for the Oklahoma State Cowboys. We've had Kendall Hunter and Chuba were both finalists. The award, if you're wondering, was created after Barry Sanders by 2 years. So there's a reason why. There's a reason why he didn't win it. It's because it was created in 1990. Shout out to me because that's when I was born. But yeah, he was great. Ollie, obviously, big props to Ollie. Hopefully, as we get into the portal as well, hopefully he's one guy that doesn't get in there because that would not be very cool.
That would not be good. That would not be good, Clint. Yeah. I'm sure and I've always thought, in that situation that he's one of those individuals where he's kind of the face of Oklahoma State football right now. And once you get to that kind of status, it'd be hard to leave a program. But the money that's been being thrown around, it'd be hard to not take a look at it and take serious consideration to it. But hopefully that's not the case, and he sticks around for a long time, because he is definitely synonymous with Oklahoma State football and he will be independent, and especially what he could possibly do in the coming years.
Yeah, multiple Doak Walker winner would be pretty awesome, and it's going to start. It's going to start with those guys up front, and that's kind of the big portal news for us at this point. Obviously, I'd rather have no news. I'd rather just not hear about the portal, but it's something that's
not the world we live in, Clint.
You got to deal with it, and returning as of now 5 offensive linemen. Jason Brooks was the most recent offensive lineman to commit back to the program, alongside Jake Springfield, Dalton Cooper, which is huge.
Yes,
Cole Birmingham, Joe Mahalski. So. We were much maligned for the beginning half of the season. That offensive line, I felt like once Dalton Cooper kind of settled in at left tackle, they took off. But you can't argue with the results, right? If you produce as an offensive line the nation's leading rusher, it is always good to come back and get those guys back in front of him. So hopefully that is leaning into his decision, with all those guys are kind of building up, the way the announcements are going. Hopefully I'm reading the tea leaves correctly, but I have been known to not be able to read very well. So who knows? Who knows where we're going from here?
I've seen examples of that in our little blooper reels and stuff like that. But no, I think this one, Clint, that your reading skills are up to par, and it does look like it's trending in that direction, and that's good to see, because when you get news like that and people are coming, like, this game is also not just about talent, but how well you guys work together. And the way you work together is by, spending a lot of time with each other and having a lot of reps with each other. And if that's the case, I mean, this offensive line is going in the right direction as far as, time spent together and reps and experience. So that's always good news. But the thing that these guys have to be aware of as they're making these announcements and they're saying all these things, there's going to be a target on their backs when they come into stadiums, or when people come to Boone Pickens Stadium. I mean, they're going to talk about how this is the team that has the nation's leading rusher last year, and this is the offensive line who did it. And not only will Ollie Gordon be, someone that everybody in the football country is looking at to kind of stop and bring to a halt, the offensive line is going to have that target as well. So they got to be able to handle that adversity, and when those things arise, they got to be able to handle that, because when you get the rewards, you also have to take, the pros and the cons that come with it. And so that's something that's going to be interesting to see how this team handles, especially Ollie Gordon, because the spotlight is on you now, son. I mean, it is on you. So see how you handle it.
Yeah, and I think he likes that. I think the offensive line, most likely, those guys never like the spotlight. But Ollie, I think relishes in that, and I think he likes that. With the good news in the portal, though, comes obviously the bad news.
Yes.
Jaden Bray, probably the biggest name so far that we've heard enter the portal, and I've been following his Twitter a little bit. He's getting offers from, it looks like, everywhere. He's tweeting one out, like, it seems like every hour. TCU, Cincinnati, Houston, Missouri, where Missouri's getting all kinds of money somehow. I don't understand. And then Blaine Green as well, obviously a guy who played. Yeah. So, there are some losses in there, but at the end of the day, Gunnar Gundy, you've got to figure out where you want to go when you're into the portal, and if somebody's going to take you. So that's always something, you got to keep in mind. So,
yeah, and again, we don't knock these players for exploring their options and trying to find a situation that fits them and suits them best, because it's their future and it's their career that is in the balance here, and so they have the right to do what they feel is truly right for them. Now, hopefully they're able to land somewhere and have success and everything, but I truly, truly wish them the best, but really, really wishing the best to the guys that stay in the orange and black.
I wonder if, before we get out of here, just a thought that I had as you were talking about that, I wonder if the situation last year with all the guys leaving, and then most of them not finding much success, if any, kind of makes some of those guys a little bit more gun shy about, hey, yeah, it's great to maybe change your scenery, get a bag or whatever, but at what cost, right? I mean, not getting to be a part of a team that makes it to the Big 12 championship game and kind of build something. Just interesting thought. I wonder if that's something that any of those guys have. If I was a coach, I would certainly bring that up. Hey, you can leave and you'll look like some of these guys that left last year and it didn't go as well for them. So,
I mean, you have to be aware of that especially, I mean, think about what the success the team had this year compared to those who left. And you kind of, see those things and be like, I don't know if I want to, be
grass isn't always greener, right?
Grass is not always greener, Clint Shelf. That's a very, very good phrase.
I'm a poet.
It's just like Jeremy Smith.
Philosophizer. But
well, I mean, it's been an interesting week, and hopefully it doesn't get any more interesting other than good news for the Cowboys, especially as we head into, I'm sure that these guys will start practicing here pretty soon and getting ready for the Texas Bowl versus Texas A&M. So hopefully that's all we have on our minds from going forward.
Well said. If you're still listening, we appreciate you tuning in as always. Bowl practice is starting, so we will start talking a little bit more about the matchup in the Houston, I think the Tax Act Bowl now, the Texas Bowl.
Tax Act. Yeah.
Kind of
you accountants out there.
Kind of tough to say on the spot, but we'll start breaking down the matchup with Texas A&M. So. We will also try to keep you as updated as we can on the portal. So we appreciate you guys listening and hope you enjoyed the Jeremy Smith interview.
Yes, hope you guys did. So you ready to get out of here, Clint?
I am.
All right. Well, again, thank you, Jeremy Smith. And guys, make sure you tune into all the great information that OSU Max has to offer. I mean, I'm sure you guys saw the great insight they had on, the Doak Walker Award winner, Ollie Gordon, and so many other things. And other sports are starting basketball season. Softball's right around the corner. Baseball's around the corner, and all these good sports. So I'm sure they have a bunch of good information for you. So make sure you stay tuned and tune in and tell your friends about it as well as the Old Pokes Show. So with that being said, remember, guys, stay loyal and true.
Go Pokes.